People remember how you made them feel.
It's about the experience.
Yeah.
Trust and the experience. The repairs that we're doing, anybody and everybody around Tulsa can do those.
Mm-hmm.
Quality-wise, yes, that's a little bit different, but at the same time, it's about the experience, and it's also about, after that's done, put an alternator on your vehicle, and something goes wrong. Call us up. Well, we're only open between these. It's how you handle after the sale, and how am I going to take care of my mom? I'm going to take care of my other customers just like that, because that's what I'd want my mom taken care of. That's how I want all of our customers taken care of.
Welcome, fellow warriors, back to Wealth Warriors Today. I've actually got Nate Hayes, one of the owners of Team-One Automotive, in the house today, breaking down how he started his business, transitioning from being an auto mechanic up to his elbows in grease, doing the hard work, transitioning to a business owner and becoming who they are today. Now in business for 14 years, that gives service to people like nobody's business out there in the automotive world. One of those guys you just want to get to know. Stand by. You're going to like this. Nate, man, thanks for being here. I just wanted, I've been looking forward to getting in front of you. I want to make sure that our audience has a chance to hear your story, because I think it's really unique. I think it's really special. And tell us about Team-One, first of all. What does Team-One do?
Team-One is a all makes, all models automotive repair shop, all the way from tires, oil change, brakes, all the way to high-end performance cars. If it's an automobile, we'll pretty much work on it.
So you work on, when you said high-end, we've had another guest and friend of ours, Steve Currington, brings his Lamborghinis in. He didn't come to see you, does he?
We've had his car there before. I've actually personally did a set of tires and wheels for him.
Right on.
But yeah, we Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Porsches. One of our niche is BMWs. We're a Dynon and a Carbone certified automotive shop for accessories, meaning performance accessories, lowering the cars, larger turbos, internal engine work, different cams, stuff like that.
Right, so stuff to beef up, you
Yes.
know, and,
Make 'em
and make it go
performance.
faster and
Yeah.
rev nice and pretty like we all like. So tell me, how long has Team-One Automotive been around?
This is our 14th year.
So I'm going to take you back to the beginning, okay? Because these are the kinds of things that almost, you know, when I go back in time for my business, I'm thinking, God, Lord, all the things that I've been through and all the things I had to go up against. And a lot of our viewers are like, how do I do this? What do I do? How do I transition? So let's talk about your history first of all, and then what led you to open Team-One.
Okay, so I moved from Florida my junior year up here to Oklahoma, landed in Yukon, went through Votech my junior and senior year, got on with a Ford dealership through OJT, on the job training, worked there for a year, sponsored by that Ford dealership to go to Okmulgee Tech, OSU, to Ford Asset, which is a 2-year applied science certificate. The dealership, what they do for you is they'll have you go for 3 months, learn engines, go back to the dealership, work with the engine technician, and so for 3 months you'll do that, and then so you do that every 6 months. You're going to training at the school, and then you'll go apply it at the dealer. After that was done, I graduated. I had met my future wife while I was in Okmulgee, actually in Muskogee, and I worked for the Ford dealership for about 3 more years, and then she wanted to move back home, so we moved back up here. I worked for Firestone because up here, down in El Reno, it was an independent dealer. Oklahoma City and Tulsa had all gone to the auto collection, where it wasn't a family owned. It was all just a conglomerate. I didn't want to work for that. A friend of ours ran a Firestone up here, 91st and Yale. It was the first couple of weeks of them opening that, and he lived in Wagner, and that's where we actually landed when we came back up here. Worked for him for about 2 years, and then that recall for the Wilderness tires came in, and it shut business down. I was a mechanic, a technician, and I wasn't a tire guy. I was repaired and fixed everything, but not the tires. We had tire guys for that. It shut the shop down. It shut all the locations down. All they were doing was those tires that were blowing up. Mm-hmm. Left there, went to Quinn Chrysler, which is no longer here in Tulsa, but so I'm dating myself. I was 24 when I went to work at Quinn Chrysler. met my best friend and now business partner. We worked together for about 5 years there, and Quinn was fixing to get bought out by Group 1 at the time. Henry Primo was selling, and the Quinns were selling, and they're merging all those together over there at Sheridan, 41st and Sheridan area by Sam's. And so when I got wind of that, I had a friend that worked at Mercedes, so I was going to go transition over to Mercedes because Daimler Chrysler were in bed together, and those brands were very similar. Get over there, and it was night and day difference. I got my tail whooped a little bit, and they wouldn't send you to training for you had to put in 2 years. Well, I was already established, had been making great money, and it hurt, so I had to find a different job. I went to work for Chevrolet. I've worked for Ford, Chevy, Mercedes, Honda, and Firestone are the dealers that I've worked for, and Quinn Chrysler. And so well-rounded in cars. I've worked at all these dealerships, worked at the Honda dealer, worked for them for about 4.5 years also, and wound up starting to do side jobs, work as a technician during the day, do some side jobs for friends and family. Hey, can you fix this? Can you fix this? Was working, 3 or 4 hours at night, and actually doing better at night in 3 or 4 hours than I was working for a company. And my business partner now, best friend at the time, he had been working for the Quinns for 22 years and was doing very well, but he started doing some side jobs with me, and we had fun doing it, working on cars. We love cars, and love hanging out and fixing cars, making some good money, and looked at each other, and I was like, hey, I'm going to leave the dealership, Don Carlton Honda. And I wound up leaving, was on my own for about 1.5 years, and had built a good clientele just being a mobile mechanic, working out of my house and being a mobile mechanic. And I kept, hey, I need to get a storefront. This is grown more than what I can just do driving around, and I see that there's something here. And I talked him out of 22 years of leaving a job, stability, and I said, hey, let's do this. So we started going to the SCORE seminars behind Jackie Cooper at the library. It's a small group that'll educate you and bring some other business owners in to kind of speak, and then they will guarantee you a loan, a bank loan, if you go through their steps. So that sounded great. We went through it. It was, I think it was about a month and a half long, going through the different groups. If we missed one, we had to catch back up. And then you go in front of bankers, and you have to build a business plan. And so that was not ever building a business plan. That's
challenging in itself.
That was challenging. Looking back at it, makes me smile or laugh at the numbers that you use, and in your mind what you think's big at the time. That was some good basic tools, but now being on this side of it, 14 years into it, if I could have been more streamlined to go and talk to other shop owners to ask for their sort of like, hopefully learn from your parents, their trials and tribulations, learn some of the ups and downs or what to forecast, because we're talking to other business owners, but it was somebody with a restaurant, and you're going to lose some produce because it's going to go bad if you don't sell enough salads and stuff like that.
Unrelated to the industry you're in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it did help, but it was just some basic hand tools and not all the tools to do the job or to think everything through. Back to the banking, my business partner, he has 2 kids. He was divorced at the time, and we have houses and taking care of our kids. I've got a son and wife, and she's a realtor, and our kids were 14 years ago. They're adults now, but 5 to 10 years old. The banks wanted us to sign everything: our houses, our cars that were paid off. And as a entrepreneur, a young businessman, I didn't want to take the risk of signing all my personal assets, because if I fail as a businessman, my whole family is penalized.
Absolutely.
For that. So we stepped back, and we got approved 3 different times, but they wanted everything. And I've already worked, 15 years working to establish that, and I wasn't willing to risk it.
Yeah.
And so we put together $10,000 a piece personally, secured a building for 3 years, and we started with 3 lifts. We bought 2 used and 1 brand new, and myself, my business partner, and his 19-year-old son. and never looked back. Now it's grown. This building that we established, renting a commercial building, they want 3 to 5 or 10-year leases. That was difficult, finding a place that was close to home, Broken Arrow. We didn't want to be in Tulsa. We wanted to stay close to home for if there was something needed for the family. And we outgrew it in the first year. We were pulling cars in the evening. It would take an hour just to pull cars in, and then because we didn't have enough parking, we were parking all the way down the street. And into our 2.5-year period, we started looking for another property, and we bought the property we're in now. And you want the address? 505 North Walnut Avenue.
Yeah.
We bought that property. There was a piece of land, parcel of land right beside us, and the building. They're same size properties, but ours has a building put on it. Same owner at the time, and this is our first time buying commercial. We go in, and the gentleman says, you can buy both, you can buy one, whichever way, and we decided just to buy the building and property, not the parcel beside us. Hindsight's 2020. We outgrew the building. We tripled our size with buying just the building with property.
Wow.
Again, about a year into it, we're renting property across the street just for parking, and an hour in the morning, an hour in the evening, pulling cars out and pulling them in just to be able to move.
Yeah.
The shop that we started out, we were 3 bays. When we left it after 3 years, we were an 8-bay shop at a 5,000 square foot. That included front office. We bought a building that was 12,000 square foot. It is now 15,000 square foot, and we're a 23-bay shop, 21 employees, and we have bought the parcel of land right beside us. And this was a learning lesson. Came back to the owner. It was still vacant, and part of it was partially gravel on the front half. The back half was like a swamp. Go back to the owner and talk to him, and he says, he actually comes into the shop, and he sits down, and he's like, so you want to talk about the property? Yep. And he's like, he gets a kind of a smirk on his face, and he's like, is the price still, whatever he was selling it at the time? He's like, well, young man, no, the price has changed. He said, just like a classic Camaro. He said, you're a car guy, just like a classic Camaro. The price is whatever. If I've got the only Camaro that's well done, sorted through, the price is whatever I name it.
Yeah.
And if you want it bad enough, he said, you're landlocked, and that's the only piece of property that's available right beside you. He said, unfortunately, it's gone up, but he said, I'll finance you. And so he made money on both ways, but it was needed, and it was a good purchase. But now, so with that property, I mean, we normally have anywhere from 75 to 110 cars on our property at any given time.
All right, so I'm gonna kind of digest a little bit this for our viewers, because number one, the history that you had with actually getting your hands dirty, actually getting in there and doing the job. Number one, a lot of people try to skip to owning a business and running a business and not really knowing anything about working on cars in this scenario.
Okay.
They jump into a business they know nothing about. I've had business owners that jump in and they just, I want to run a business, therefore I'm in charge, so I can do this. And that's really not how it works. You got to get your hands dirty. So I love the fact that you got your hands dirty. But number one, the people that get their hands dirty aren't always educated about how business runs. So it's important to get yourself plugged into somebody that knows something better, faster, easier, so you can try to not necessarily skip through to the end or not go through hardships, but at least try to take the edges off, a little bit. Maybe this is the whole reason why we do what we do, because there's so many people out there that work on cars that really do want to do something different. They really do want to branch out and make something better, or whatever the industry might be. So for the end result here, to get in a position where you're running a business, now probably I would say that you probably work more on your business than you work in the business. Am I right?
That is correct.
So that's the transition that most people can't get. They think, oh, I've got to be in the business. I've got to be getting my hands dirty every day. If you're working on the business, then you can work on your employees. You can work on expanding. You can work on all these other things because you're seeing it from a big picture. You got this 1,000-foot view now. If you're all in up to your elbows in grease still, even though you know how to do that stuff, that kind of speaks volumes to me for the viewers, because when you get involved in any business, name it, you've got to have the ability to step back and see it from a view. When did you go from? At what point in that process? Because when you started, you still had to get your hands dirty.
I was the main mechanic, and to answer that, I'm in a partnership, so we are like a yin and yang, and we're different, but we have the same goals. He handles different aspects of the company. I've steerheaded some other aspects of the company, and it all is a melting pot. As long as we always consider each other's feelings and make sure that it's for the better of the company and for the customers or the employees. I would say we're about 3 to 4 years into it, because of growth of the company, had to start setting up benefits. And because when we first started out, there was no benefits. It was just 2 owners and one of his sons. And then so to have employees and retain employees, look back at the dealership, besides working, why else did we stay? Atmosphere. So I think we have a really cool shop. Make it fun, super clean, super well lit. I've worked in some shops that have black floors. You drop a bolt and you're looking for it for 10, 15 minutes. Our stuff is nice polished gray, all LED lighting. Our environment is climate controlled for the whole shop for the technicians. That helps with productivity in the long run. And then benefits to the customers or the employees are health, dental, vision, supplemental Aflac, and then we also vacation, paid time off. We're in a small miniature dealership without having a main franchise name is the best way to explain it. But
expand on the culture for me, because that's important, because most people don't really focus on culture, and culture keeps people around.
Keeps people around, keeps quality, good people around. And the way that this works, in my eyes, is you take care of your employees are going to take care of your customers. We only stay open with customers. The customers will take care of the company, and that's the triangle of life there. Our company itself, Team-One, we're 21 people there, but it's not just one person against that one vehicle. We might have somebody stumble or get stuck hitting a brick wall, and instead of sitting over there, when I worked in the dealerships, they're sitting there making flag hours, and it's competition. You're independent contractors, and so it can be looked at as competition. In our shop, one guy gets stuck, sits there, other guys are watching him. You'll look over in the shop, and there'll be 2, 3, 4 guys over there brainstorming, trying to get through it. Because if it stalls him, it's stalling his whole family, making a livelihood, and it's like it's a family kind of feel at our shop.
All right, so looking back, again, 1,000-foot view, what would you have done differently knowing what you know now, going back in time?
So here's where I'm at, is when we build a business plan and everything looks good, built the business plan, but it didn't have an exit strategy. And that's part of what I'm working on currently, is how to transition to my business partner and I. We were the face of the company because we were walking up front and talking to everybody. To build value in our company, we've been told in different groups and gatherings that you have to not be the face of the company. You have to kind of pull yourself out and let your employees do their role and their job and handle situations. To if you weren't there, can this company still make and support and handle itself? That's what I'm working on currently.
So more so letting those guys be in charge, kind of like that disassociated leadership kind of idea. So you're basically making little leaders out of every one of your managers so that they can handle things on their own without having to come to you.
Give them just like going to the dealership. Yes, just like going to the dealership. If they get to the service manager, something's getting given away, or handle your heat, handle situation. You can give so much away. If it gets to a certain number, come and talk. But trying to break the habit of the customer. Well, I want to talk to Nate, or I want to talk to Larry. You want to be their go-to, and hopefully, if you do a great job, Google's our new yellow pages to us.
Yeah.
I like seeing reviews. I like seeing the 5-star. I like seeing where they actually type something in. But when they will tag your name, you've made a mark, and that has super impressed them, and that makes me happy. That makes me smile when our family will, that they'll sing them some praise.
Yeah.
And we're doing our job right when we get that. And a lot of my guys are my advisors up front, and my technicians, the care that they take, it is very rewarding on that aspect.
People remember how you made them feel.
It's about the experience.
Yeah.
Trust and the experience. The repairs that we're doing, anybody and everybody around Tulsa can do those. Quality-wise, yes, that's a little bit different. But at the same time, it's about the experience, and it's also about, after that's done, put an alternator on your vehicle and something goes wrong, call us up. Well, we're only open between these. It's how you handle after the sale, and how am I going to take care of my mom? I'm going to take care of my other customers just like that, because that's what I'd want my mom taken care of. That's how I want all of our customers taken care of. So we're there. Our numbers are on our business cards for personal sales for after hours, because unfortunately callers break after hours.
Yeah.
And we made a mistake just last week. We had a customer that was out of town, authorized some repairs, made a deal with one of the advisors to go ahead and pay the ticket, have the car pulled up front, and keys secured. And I get a call at 11 o'clock Friday night. I'm at home 30 minutes away from the shop, broken leg, and customer texts me first some images. Car pulled up to the shop, gate closed, no vehicles up front. I wasn't even aware of this situation. I call him, get the scoop, and tell him, give me 5 minutes. Call my advisor that was supposed to handle. He answers. He's like, oh my gosh. I call the other owner. They're there in 15 minutes, get it opened up. This is very important because the gentleman had just flown back in, and Saturday morning he has a boat tournament, a fishing tournament, and he needed his truck.
Oh, wow.
He's there in a convertible Camaro with friend or family. And so it was a mess up on art, but it's how you handle. Life's going to throw you things in life. It's how you handle them, and you can either stress and I mean, they can put stress on you, but it's how you handle, and it makes your metal stronger.
Well, and no matter what business you're in, people are going to make mistakes. Yes. It doesn't matter who they are.
We're human.
We're all human. And a lot of people, just like you said, it's how you handle a mistake from that point forward. And, I've heard it said that a mistake is a mistake the first time. The second time, it's a choice. So it's one of those things, if you're constantly fixing those mistakes, you don't ever have to go back and fix the same one over again. If you got the guys in there that are willing to change quickly and do the things to make those mistakes go away and not have to come back to, those are so important in business today. But I think the big thing you just hit on was how fast you got on it. You didn't sit around and wait. You didn't sit around, because you're treating it as if you were sitting right there.
If the roles were reversed. Yeah. I want to tell you, my business partner was a service advisor for 22 years. So he had advisor skills, and I told you, yin and yang. We have changed roles, because I was the mechanic, technician, and he was the advisor, and we both wanted to learn each other's craft, and we've taught each other. One of the things that he taught me was, how you sometimes can take a horrible situation, and it could be either our fault, we installed or did something improperly, part failed prematurely, and or customer neglect. Those are usually your three. But how you handle that and take care of it, even if it's our fault, it's how you take care of and talk with them. Sometimes that's where you solidify. Let them know that you're just honest and you're going to take care of it, and that will show. Where you think you're losing a customer, that solidifies these guys are honest. They made a mistake. We're going to go on with it, and they're taking care of it. And I know that I can trust them if something ever comes up again. And that's been very rewarding.
Okay, I'm going to drill down on a couple of key points in closing here. Number one, you see a lot of automotive people that are in business take advantage of the public, as far as things go. So it's nice to see somebody doing things right, number one. Thank you for that. But number two, we have a lot of women viewers. Okay. And women, when they go into automotive stores, they don't by nature necessarily know what's going on with a car, and they get taken advantage of even more. They feel like they've been taken advantage of, and they have no choice. Okay. How comfortable should those people be in coming to Team-One Automotive to say, I need help and I don't know what's wrong and I don't want to be taken advantage of?
So to try to explain, whether male or female, coming in, we don't know your knowledge on cars, guys or ladies.
Yeah.
So when you come in and you say you got this noise and this light's coming on, we're going to look your car over and we're going to give you answers to those, but we're also going to look the rest of the car over and tell you, because we're the professionals, and we're going to ask permission, can we look the rest of your car over, why it's in here? If we find anything, we're going to explain, we're going to give you an itemized list of what all we found. Usually we're going to counsel is the best way to try to explain it. I'm going to ask you, here's what you have. I've got a list of 21 things. I know you only came in for 2 things. Here's what all I found. I put them in a 1, 2, 3 order. 1, but I need to ask, how long do you plan to keep this car? Because I'm going to work with your budget. 2nd, what is your budget? And then let's work together to find out how we can utilize those funds. And we have ways to help people get credit card or funding through our shop.
Good.
And so we'll counsel them in a way and give them that roadmap. Some people say, well, I got 12 months, and then 18 months later, car comes back in for something else. And so we go back to that list that we had. We have electronic ROs, and everything can be emailed, and all that can be. We do have paper still, but the best way to try to explain that, whether male or female, we're going to talk you through this. We have videos to try to explain that we can send. So you could be at work, we're at the shop, and we say, well, that noise that you hear that sounds like a belt, but not all your belts look fine, that's your timing belt starting to come apart. And we've pulled a cover, and here's some pictures, images, and so we'll take a picture close so you can see what's going on, and then we'll back out so you can see that it's your car, not just a random image. And then so that we feel that builds trust. And then we'll send them a video of, here's a timing belt and here's what it does, and if it breaks, here's some of the consequences.
You're doing this for every client?
Yes.
People don't do this, Nate. You know that, right?
It's just the way it should be done.
I love it. That's awesome. Man, Nate, thank you. I know you are one busy guy, especially now with a broken leg and trying to do all that you do. Thank you for coming on and telling everybody about what it took to build what Team-One is today. All right, final question, though. Before I let you go out of here, I go, what's future for Team-One? Where are we going from here? I know you're where you're at, but where do you want to be, say, 5 years from now? What's your total plan? I know, I put you on the spot.
Yeah. We have growth, continued growth, and if we can streamline, organize, I'm OCD on a lot of things, and structure and just our process internally to where we have so many cars and we can only work on so many a day. And so if our process, and it's continually, it's organic, we have to change because not every situation is the same, but getting everything to streamline and flow, and that's the biggest thing, flow, so we can help more people. That's my main goal.
Nate, thanks for being with us, man. Appreciate it.